If you notice that the pictures keep changing their place, it's because they keep falling off the wall. And if you hear clicking noises, that's my brother playing video games, because I'm filming in his room because it's the only quiet place in the house. So welcome to my podcast. Friends, welcome to my podcast. I am Eden. I am a knitter, sewer, crocheter, and whatever hobby I recently take up. It's, I like being creative and making stuff. You can find me as YarrowMail44 on Instagram or YarrowMail on Ravelry, or you can visit my shop where I sell my handmade progress keepers and paintings like these ones at yarrowandco.squarespace.com. And I am new to podcasting, but I knew I always wanted to try it, and here we are. So this is very exciting, and I can't wait to show you what I've recently been working on. So first up is finished objects. Now I am definitely a process knitter, so I barely really finish anything. I do want to finish what I work on, it's just it takes a really long time. That, and I like to have a trillion things cast on at the same time. But I have one finished object that I finished recently. That are these socks. These are the Mrs. Weasley's family socks by Molly Clapp from A Homespun House. And I really, really like this pattern because it's super simple. You just purl every fourth row in a pattern, fourth, fifth, I can't remember. But it creates this cool texture even in this striped yarn. And this is Patton's Croy sock in the color Sing in the Blues Stripes. So that is Sing, and then a capital N, and then Blues Stripes, which is kind of a funny name, but it's fun. And yeah, for these, I used size 0 needles, DPNs, and instead of a heel flap and gusset, I did a short row heel. I really, really like short row heels because they're easy to remember and just do as you're going along. Like, you don't have to silence the whole room while you do a heel. But yeah, that's the only thing I changed from this pattern, and I really, really like them. And they turned out super close in the patterning. And I used like 2 separate balls, but they came really, really close to being the same, just slightly different. That's fun. And yeah, I love this pattern, totally recommend it. And that is probably my only finished object, at least for a while, but I have plenty of whips to show you. My first work in progress is another pair of Mrs. Weasley's family socks, and I'm doing these ones 2 at a time on size 2.25 millimeter Geogoose. And these are the colors Lupin from Dragon Horde Yarn, and this is Barbie from A Homespun House. And these are socks for my boyfriend, whose favorite color is blue, and then we added some hot pink for some flair, because that's always fun. And yeah, these are the largest size, but when increasing on the toe, I added 2 stitches. So this is 74 stitches instead of 72. And the original pattern calls for size 0s like I did my socks, but I went up to 2.25 just to be sure that these will fit men's sizes. I struggle whenever I knit socks. I usually knit them too small. So I wanted to be sure that these would be big enough for him, and better to have a little extra space than too little space, because it just getting stuck on my necklace. But yeah, I'm really liking these, and again, I love this pattern. It's so simple, but it adds texture to the sock and just its pattern, and loving this yarn, like loving. I had gotten Dragon Horde yarn advent calendar last year, and one of the colors in it for the advent calendar was Lupin, but she hadn't dyed it on full skeins yet, and so we asked her if she was going to make this yarn in full hanks, and she did. Lupin, it's such a pretty mix of blues and browns, and there's little hints of green in there. I mean, what could be better? And then Barbie, which is bright, bright, bright hot pink. It's such a contrast, and it's so cool. I love it. And this is the soft sock I remember from a homespun house, and it's so nice. It's so nice. I'll show you it in the full skein. So this is Barbie, and I split Lupin into 2 skeins. Sorry for how messy they are, but yeah, they're so pretty and love it. And yeah, so Dragon Horde yarns, Lupin is 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. And then Barbie soft sock on soft sock is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. But they both have this wonderful softness to them, and they're nice and plump, so they match up really nicely. Wow, that's a jumble. But all this is held in a bag that my friend Sarah made me. Hi, Sarah. I love this bag because it's like, oops. Pick that up in a sec. But yeah, this is yellow and black, which is like my favorite color combinations. It's because Hufflepuff is my Hogwarts house, and yellow and black is the house colors, and I love it. So yeah. The next work in progress I have to show you is a colorwork sweater, and I have never done a colorwork sweater before. This is my first one, and I've really been enjoying it. The pattern is well laid out for somebody who hasn't done a colorwork sweater before. And so I'm making the Red Moon sweater by Born and Raised Knits, and it is this super cool pullover that you can either do long sleeve or short sleeve. I'm doing the short sleeve because if I do short sleeve, I'm more likely to finish it. But yeah, this is a really cool sweater, and once I saw it, I was like, I need one of those. I want to make it. And so here is my progress so far on the yoke. And yeah, for the main color, I am using Schmetzerella yarns in the colorway Omega. And this is a sport weight, but it's okay. So far it's been okay using it because I'll explain that in a minute. I went up a needle size But the contrast color, I have been using Wool & Vine Yarns Solstice. This is a fingering weight on her footsie base. Oops. This is 80% superwash blue face Leicester, trouble with that word, and 20% nylon. And I was worried there wouldn't be enough contrast between the two, because sometimes you can see like it's got specks of the same colored gray, and I thought that would end up messing up the moons. But so far it's been really good. Like, you can see the contrast in the color work. And I'm making the size for a 36-inch bust, and I went up a needle size. It calls for 3.5 millimeter, but I'm using a size 4 millimeter because the next size up was way too much positive ease for me. And so I just went up one needle size to give myself just a little bit of positive ease, not a crazy amount. But I'm really enjoying making this. And the little beginning of round marker is this apple. It's been bitten in. It was a gift to me from Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarns, who's so sweet to give me and my mom some markers, and it goes really well with this black and gray moon sweater. It's kind of witchy almost, but yeah, I am no witch, but I really like the dramatic look of the black and gray. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Oh, I'm keeping it in a bag that I made myself. This is just a big square bucket bag. I don't have these in the shop, but I would love to make some to put in the shop. Right now I only have some smaller bags for hats, and you could put socks in there easily. It's a good little size, but these bucket bags are wonderful because they can hold a lot, like a sweater quantity. I have another one that I have my blanket in that I will show you in a sec. But yeah, I am really enjoying the pattern. It's great for somebody like me who hasn't done color before, and the color work is just so cool and dramatic, I guess. Like, it will be so fun to have during like the Halloween season. I'm not a huge Halloween person, but I mean, come on, right? And yeah, so that is my red moon sweater. The next project that I have to show you is my Bits and Bobs blanket. This is being held in another one of these big bucket bags that my mom made me this one for Christmas, and it is like the same pattern as the other one I made. I don't have any in the shop right now, but I will put some in there because they're just so awesome, and big bucket bags to separate your knitting from everything else, either in your basket or your purse. It's just a good protection, and even just to carry on because it's got super long cord to sling over your shoulder and a little clasp to keep it closed. A drawstring bag, that's what it's called. Yep. And in it again is my Bits and Bobs blanket by KF Jones, and this is a blanket with fingering held double. And I am making this blanket out of the mini skeins from Dragon Horde Yarns 2019 Harry Potter advent calendar. And so I'm doing each mini skein in the order that they came, in these stripes. and it is completely fisherman's rib. It is huge. It almost doesn't fit on my needles, but it's so squishy. It's so awesome. Like, look at that. Look at that. Yes. So yeah, I'm holding my mini skein from the advent calendar along with Barocco Ultra Alpaca, and this is a fingering weight too. They don't make this anymore, which is a bummer because I'm going to need a lot more of it for my blanket. This is like a scrap that came out of my mom's stash. Thank you, Mom, so much for letting me have these. So I will find an alternative really close because it's just a plain cream color. Whenever in a excuse me, tea in the back of my throat. But yeah, I will find like a replacement, and it's held together to make this really cool marled consistency. Just squishy. Till I'm just, whenever I pull this out, it's just, I want to squish it. I don't need to work on it, I just need to squish it. But I can't wait to have this when it's like big enough to, oops, low battery. But yeah, I can't wait to have this big enough that it'll be like on my lap and I can work on it at the same time. So it's like double whammy of warmth and knitting. But usually when I have my advent calendars, I like to make blankets out of them. And it's something that I work on throughout the year, just whenever I feel like it. And this one is really great when your knitting mojo isn't just there. You can work on it and you don't have to think about it. As soon as you get like the pattern, it's just 2 rows to create this pattern. And it's so mindless when working on it. So yeah, oh, squishiness. I'm working these with size 4mm Knit Picks wood needles. I can't remember the name, but it's like the dark purple and the green ones. Same as the Caspian wood ones, it's just a different colored wood. And these are also interchangeables on a nice big cord. But yeah, I just work on this throughout the year, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish it by the end of the year, but I will have a lot of progress done on it. And I mean, it's so nice to have just this big blanket that you have all these memories from with all these minis. Yeah. So my last work in progress that I have to show you is a Ripple Camisole by Jessie May, who does great top patterns. Like, they're really cool. But this is the Ripple Camisole, and it is a fingering weight tank top. Here we go. So you can see like it's just a ribbing tank top all the way up, and then we've got like some I-cord shoulders. And I'm knitting this out of Ginger Snap yarns in the color Book of Spells. And that's a Harry Potter reference. This is an 80-20, 80% superwash and merino and 20% nylon. And it's just so pretty. And the progress keeper I have accompanying me is Marvin the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You can see how much he doesn't really care, but that's Marvin for you. And I'm knitting these on size 3mm needles. The pattern calls for 3.5, but I wanted to go down a size so that the fabric is nice and firm and you don't get any see-through, I guess. Not like a mesh. I wanted it to be a thick fabric. So I went down a few needle sizes and went up one size from what I would have made for myself with the regular needle sizes. So yeah, this is just a 3x3 rib all the way up. All the way up. So it's really simple and nice to have when I'm watching like a new movie that I want to pay attention to the plot line with, or if I'm just talking with somebody or FaceTiming with somebody. I have this that I don't have to think about it too much and I can concentrate on whatever's going around me. And it's a great pattern. Nice and simple and greatly laid out. I've never made a tank top before. It wasn't something that I thought I would want to have knitted because you know you don't want to wear wool in the summertime, but I think this would be really nice to have. Like it's not thick and warm like a sweater as you would think, but it will be great to have during the springtime when it's like slightly warmer but not blazing hot, and it doesn't get very hot here in Upper Canada, so it's a perfect little summer/spring garment to have. It will take me a while as it is a lot of ribbing, but I'm enjoying it and I really like doing ribbing. You get in the flow, I guess. That's what's nice about ribbing, is that you get in a flow and just start doing it. And yeah, so that is all I have about that pattern. I have plenty of more whips, but they're kind of ones that have been set to the side for a little while, and these are the ones that I'm working on whenever I'm knitting. Whenever I feel like knitting, I pick up one of these guys. And yeah, those are all my whips. Technically not all my whips, but all the whips that I have working at the time. The last thing I wanted to talk about is what I'm wearing. This is a dress I sewed myself, and this is the women's square neck dress by Common Sense Designs. And this is such a great, simple dress. I made this a long time ago, and I've lost weight over the past few years, so it's really big, but it's still comfortable. So that's what I really like it. I roll up the sleeves to make them less dramatic, I guess, and yeah, it's so comfortable and so nice to just throw on whenever you want to be fancy, and it's just a simple gathered skirt, and it goes all the way past my knees down to halfway down my calves, and it's got pockets, which is, I mean, always desirable, right? You need a dress with pockets. And yeah, I love this dress. I want to make more to have in my closet in a little bit smaller size, but I would even make another one in the sizes too big, because it's not a tent. I just like to say that when you wear like huge dresses, you feel like you're wearing a tent for your body, but it's not a tent. It's big enough that it's like movable and comfortable, and if you want to like draw in the waistline, you can use a belt. I sometimes wear a belt right at the seam of the skirt, and it draws it into my waist, and it's just a nice simple pattern that you can use like a crazy fabric or a simple fabric just to show off the nice pattern. This one's like just a bunch of tiny little flowers. I can't really, here we go, but yeah, like daisies and things. And yeah, I really like this dress, and I would love to make another one to have. I love cotton dresses, like I love having them around. Usually you don't make garments out of quilter's cotton, but I don't mind it at all. Yes, it wrinkles, but I think that just adds character because I'm not one for ironing my dresses. But yeah, that is all I have to talk about. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my first ever podcast. I hope it wasn't too messy or wild for you, or hearing me stutter a lot, because I'm a little bit nervous. I won't lie to you, I'm a little bit nervous. And yeah, but sorry for the pictures falling. We figured it out though, like the little bit of tape I was using wasn't really working. But yeah, I've got some blue tack. Put those back up there. And these are, sorry, I should have mentioned these. These are paintings that are for sale in my shop right now. I also do watercolor art as another one of my hobbies. And this is Tranquillium, which is Latin for tranquil. And it's just this pretty like purple nighttime sky, and then a little orange sunrise with all these trees. And then this one is Funky Sunshine, which is just this nice sunrise on the water, and there's sparkles. And this one was fun to do because I felt like being wild and playful. But yeah, you can check them out. You can look at them closer on the website. Yeah, yarowncompany.squarespace.com. I will have links down below to the patterns for my whips and my shop, my Instagram. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and watch me attempt to do a podcast. I will learn to do a bit better. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope this doesn't bug anybody.